a manner that reflects your love for Jesus. So the louder your amen, the more you must love Jesus. The softer your amen, then you and Jesus have some things that you need to talk about. Is that okay? So I'd like to be the living church in the mighty and powerful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Wonderful. And to our visitors, that's how we do it. I said yesterday, just be careful though. The loud amen does not necessarily mean that the people love Jesus. It might just mean that they've learned the art of deceiving us into thinking they love Jesus. So tonight, I don't want to have a lot of preambles. I think we did a lot of that yesterday, just getting to know each other. I want to dive straight into our message for the evening. Last night we spoke about faith, right? Blessings. Oh, someone was here. We spoke about blessings yesterday, and we ascertained or we established that our relationship with God should not be transactional, where we give Him worship and we send worship the other way and He sends blessings the other way around. Sometimes, by the way, maybe I said this yesterday in a different way. The real blessing might not necessarily, it's just like obedience. The real blessing is not in the reward that you receive for worship. Sometimes the blessing is the opportunity to worship. That becomes the blessing itself. Someone else asked me before, and they said that they've started working and now the boss is asking them to come worship or come to work on the day, on Sabbath, which is the day that they believe God has called them to worship on. And the boss is saying that they must come and work. So she says to me, he says, but I'm going to give up my work. I'm not going to forsake God for the sake of employment. You know how we almost sound bitter when we're about to stand up for God. I'm going to give up. I'm going to give it up because I know that God has something better for me. So I said, not necessarily. What you're giving up right now is not going to be rewarded with something better of the same that you've given up. Because clearly what you have to give up is a problem. So God can't replace it with something that is better than what you have, which is in the similar vein. You get what I'm saying? So I said the blessing is not necessarily in what is coming for you standing up for your faith. The blessing is that you have been given an opportunity that many never get, which is to stand up for your faith. That's the blessing. And the blessing is that now you're going to get time to spend with your God. You're going to get to go to church on the day that you believe you're supposed to worship God. That's the blessing. It's almost like someone saying, I gave up smoking. I'm no longer smoking because I know that God is going to bless me. You're not going to be blessed for not smoking. And I'm gonna say this again later on. You're not going to be blessed for not smoking, as if smoking is a good thing to stop. Like as if you've given up something good, so you must be rewarded for it with something good because you gave up something good. The fact that you stop smoking means that you get to prolong your life. That's the blessing. That's the reward. You know, I always say to people, like, why must you, okay, maybe we'll talk about it on Thursday, on the next week Thursday, we'll talk about obedience. Like when someone, you know, when you breathe, right? It's for your own good. You're breathing. Nobody's ever come up to me and said, boss, you know when you breathe, it's like a song. You know there's a rhythm to your breathing. So when I breathe, I don't breathe to be complimented for my breathing. Someone to come and say, hey, this guy, nobody breathes like this guy. I breathe because I'm going to stay alive. You know, I need to stay alive. And that's what obedience is. You're not obedient so that someone may think you're holy and righteous. Or that so that God can reward you for your obedience. The obedience is the breathing that keeps you alive. So you can't receive a double reward for what you have already been rewarded with, and the reward is that you're doing it. And so how do I get here? Don't think that I'm not prepared. Sometimes the spirit, you know. So this is what I was saying. This is where I was going. That the blessing, the real blessing sometimes is the opportunity to worship God. You're not going to receive a blessing for worshiping God because you've already received the blessing. It is that you worship God. Then Jesus says in John chapter 5, blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek, blessed are the persecuted. None of those things and none of those groupings that are blessed. And by the way, he used a very interesting Greek word, makurion, which is a perfect past participle. In other words, it means that it is complete. You are blessed. Like you are blessed. There's no cause behind your blessedness. You are just declared blessed. It is not something that you attain. You are not blessed because of. You are just declared blessed. Right. Now, if that is the case, now when he says, blessed are the poor, they are not blessed because they are poor. So their poverty is not what makes them blessed. But their poverty places them in a good condition to be declared blessed. What about their poverty makes them declare, or leads Christ to declare them blessed? It is that in their poverty, they've got they've got nothing else to be dependent on apart from God. There's a beautiful writer by the way, you must check her out. Her name is Ellen White, okay? And she wrote this beautiful book called Education. And she's talking about Solomon, King Solomon. She says, you know when Solomon prayed and he said to God, and Lord, I am but just a little child. I don't know when to go out, I don't know when to come in, you know? And he said, just give me wisdom, because this responsibility of giving me to be a king over a nation is just too great for me. And she says, Solomon, the richest king and the wisest king that ever lived in Israel. She says, at no point was Solomon at his richest and at his wisest than at that moment when he was declaring his full dependence upon God. In other words, what makes you blessed is not what God gives you, it is what you are. It is, you see, the moment of dependence, the moment of full dependence is that the zenith of your blessedness. When you are able to say, I've got nothing and no one else to run to except for God, that is when you are really blessed. Because when you no longer have any strength, you don't have any power to fight for yourself. God becomes the power. You don't have any resources to feed yourself. God becomes your resource. And that's what makes you blessed. It is the fact that what sustains you is not declared or is not given to you by anyone else. Therefore, it cannot be taken away from you.
Yes, sir.
And that's what makes it a blessing. You know, by the way, she also writes in the book Desire of Ages, she writes that whenever Christ preached, he never felt happy when people said to him, oh, what a powerful sermon. I want to reach that level. Where like when someone says, powerful sermon, I'm like, I'm not happy. Like it doesn't make you happy. So that, and she says, the reason why, she says, he never rejoiced in the affirmations he received from people. That is why he was never deterred by the doubters.
Yes.
You see, when they, if I know you got it, who said that? Yeah. Good man, at least there's someone here. Because when I read it, that was exactly my reaction. It is that if they make you happy, when you give them the power to make you happy, you give them the power to make you sad. So if they become the source of your happiness, they can also become the source of your sadness. Now, when he refused to let them make him happy by complimenting him, he took away their power to make him sad when they doubted him. And that is why he could preach to them whether they were saying amen or when they kept quiet in disapproval. Why? Because he will never rejoice in their amens. Now, what am I saying about this? I'm saying to you that if you can trace the source of your blessing, you are in danger of losing it. And how much of a blessing is it if it has the possibility of being lost? Can I tell you a story, a funny story? When I started working, right? Maybe it's not so funny, I'm so cautious about saying it's funny, it might be funny. So when I started working, right, I bought a car. It was a nice Ford Focus, white Ford Focus. It was way back in 2008. So I had this car, now I know some of you are already calculating how old must this guy be. So I bought this white Ford Focus, nice little car, you know. It was the dumbest decision I'd ever made, alright? Dumbest decision I'd ever made. Paying $4,500 for that thing a month, excluding insurance and petrol. So there I was, driving this thing, this Ford Focus, and I bought it, and I showed my friends, and then I told I went and told my grandmother. My grandmother came and prayed about it. You know how we do this? You know how we get something that is, we make an egocentric buy, an egocentric purchase. It's all about your ego, and then you want to protect it by baptizing it and declaring it a tool for God's work. So it was really, that Ford Focus had nothing to do. When I look at that car, I did not say, this will harm me. I just went into a shop, I saw a car, and I said, I like that car. They did the application, and they gave me the car. All right. And so I went in, and then I showed my friends, just to show you that it was an egocentric buy. I showed my friends, I took it around, I showed all my friends, and then I took it to my grandmother. Right. Then I went and showed my grandmother. When I took it to my grandmother, my intention was not for her to pray over the car. It was not that. It was just so that she can see that I've made it, I've arrived. The full focus. Like it was just really it was for the neighbors to say, yeah. Also us, So I went and showed my grandmother the car, and she said, "Oh, what a wonderful car!" And she went over to the car and she prayed. We were standing outside and she prayed. Of course, while she's praying, I'm looking around and who's seeing this potentially embarrassing scene. And she prays over the car and so, she thanks God and says, "Yes, Lord, now your work is going to fly." Not that she was encouraging me to speed. So I said, so after we prayed, right, I took my car, I went home. I used to stay in a flat, right? I was on the 13th floor. Because nobody would stay on the 13th floor. It was the quietest floor in the whole building. Nobody wanted to stay there. I was the only one who didn't have a problem staying on the 13th floor. And so I stayed there, and my car was on the road. At night, it was a blessing, right? It's a beautiful blessing. God has blessed us. Never mind the fact that it wasn't my car, really. It was Standard Bank's car. It would be mine maybe 5 years' time. So there I was. I posted it on Facebook and look at God's power. So then I am at home, right? At 11 o'clock, and I'm going to bed finally. I can't sleep. They said this. Try having a new car. All right, like you can't sleep. So I went home and I was sleeping at night, and then I hear what they call this? We call them alarms, right? But apparently. Alright, but let's call it an alarm here. Right. So then it was, then the alarm goes off, right? We prayed about it, my grandmother prayed over this car, right? The alarm goes off, and I'm sleeping. I wake up, I hear an alarm, I wake up, and I go to the door, to the balcony, and I look at the bottom, and there my car is quiet. It's not my car. It was another car, alright. And yeah, so it was just going off there, going crazy. Then I went back to sleep. And then around about 2 o'clock, I'm a heavy sleeper, right? But that night, I was a light sleeper. And then I wake up again, I hear people talking at the bottom. I'm on the 13th floor. Talking at the bottom, and I get up again. I'm up there, and I'm watching what's happening. Who's walking next to my car? Eve. I'm trying to steal it now. And there I am. It's a blessing, but I can't sleep. It's a blessing. I've lost my ability to sleep. When I possessed the blessing. You know what happened? You know why? Do you know why? Because deep down I knew that it had nothing to do with God. It was all about me. And that is why I was the one fussing and stressing about His protection. Because I knew it did not come from God. If it comes from God, and if it is God, and if it belongs to God, then it must be God's responsibility, even if it is in my care. I cannot lose sleep over a blessing. I can't have insomnia because of a blessing. And you know why I kept waking up? Because I was afraid of losing it. Now, how much of a blessing is it that when it arrives, you live in fear of losing it? But it's a blessing because you received it. I received. And then Jesus says, blessed are the poor. So the poor are not, so it's, you don't have to go and be poor in order to be blessed. The point is, find your dependence, your satisfaction, your fulfillment in God. And, can I share this with you? Okay, here's a biblical illustration. Do you remember Hannah? Yeah. Who are Hannah? All right. Do you remember Hannah? She goes to the temple, right? And she goes and prays for a son, right? And she says to God, give me a son as a sign that you're still with me. Okay, that's what I want, just a sign that you're still with me. So give me a son. And when the son arrives, I'll bring him back to you, okay? And that was powerful. And the Bible says, when Hannah prayed, when she got into the temple, she was sad. She was so sad that the priest thought she was drunk. I don't know what kind of sadness this is, when the priest even thought that she was drunk. So there she was praying, and the Bible says she was sad. And then 5 minutes later, I don't know how long her prayer was, okay? But let's say 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later, Hannah finishes praying and she walks out the temple. Verse 9 says, of 1 Samuel chapter 1. Verse 9 says, Hannah was happy. She had not received what she was praying for. But when she walks out, she's happy. 9 months later, Samuel arrives. Right? But when Samuel arrives, he does not make Hannah happy. He finds Hannah happy. You know, it's very difficult to talk about gender pronouns. And you have to use both of them in one sentence. He, she. So just remember, there's a he and a she. Alright. So when Samuel arrives, he doesn't make her happy. Alright? Because she was already happy in verse 9. So her happiness does not come from the blessing. The blessing is not the source of her happiness. The blessing was just a sign that God was still with her. Are you still with me? That is why when the blessing arrives, she's got no problem taking it back to God, because the sign has already arrived. All she now remains with is the assurance, because her sustenance and her livelihood was not in Samuel. Samuel was just a product, a sign that she had asked from God to show her that he was still with her. So she takes Samuel back to the temple and she remains with the assurance that God is still with me. And you know what? When she takes him to the temple, she doesn't lose her sadness, because Samuel didn't arrive with the happiness. She's not sad when she takes him to the temple, because her happiness was not in Samuel. Samuel found her happy. Your blessing or your happiness cannot rest in your blessing. You can't say you're going to be happy when you have a job. When you lose it, you're going to be miserable. Let it find you happy. By the way, if it arrives and makes you happy, when it departs, it'll make you sad. Don't give it that control. Find your happiness away from things that, don't plant your happiness in things that are untraceable, so that they cannot be taken away from you. Is that fine? So let your happiness come from God. Okay, and then, so now we move to miracles. Let's just smoothly transit into miracles. Okay, so we've been talking about blessings, right? And sometimes blessings arrive like miracles. And I need to take my time on this one. All right. So here's the thing, right? Moses is tending his father another English problem. The sheep belonged to his father-in-law, and Moses was tending them. Right. So do I say Moses was tending his father-in-law's? Alright. So his father-in-law's name was Jethro. So Moses was looking after Jethro's sheep, who was his father-in-law. Alright. And the Bible says, this is Exodus chapter 3. Alright. And the Bible says, and maybe let's turn over there, Exodus chapter 3. I want to have you out of here. Well, I want to be done by 7:30, 7:45 the latest, just so that you don't feel that church is taking up your time. You can't do your homework and your schoolwork, because truth be told, that's what you came here for, not to listen to blogs. All right, so Exodus chapter 3, right? Exodus chapter. Someone said, you look younger on YouTube. They just said it outside. I'm just realizing now that I was hurt by that comment. No, I'm joking. I realized that you didn't notice that he had said something in the I saw you on YouTube. You look quite young on YouTube. But when I saw you, I said, are you sure this is him? So tomorrow I must wake up and run. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father. See, even the Bible's not using, it's not putting it the way I did. Not his father-in-law, his Lord's sheep. It's Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the back of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. So he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. All right. And then Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, while the bush does not burn. Right. So Moses sees this unnatural event. Then he moves closer to observe what's the cause behind this unnatural event. Right. And then, so when the Lord saw, now remember, it's the angel that's giving him this epiphany, and then when he gets closer, then it's the Lord that speaks to him. So when the Lord saw that he turned aside to look, God called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, here I am. And he said, do not draw near this place. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. All right, let's jump over. Verse 9. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me, and I've also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now, therefore, I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moses said to him, God, who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? And so he said, I will certainly be with you, and this shall be a sign to you, that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. Then Moses said, indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, the God of the fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. That's God's name, all right? I'm not going to get into the whole exegesis of that. I will be who I am. I failed Hebrew miserably at school. So, and he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Moreover, God said to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial to all generations. All right. Now, let us go down. Right. Then verse 19 says, but I'm sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not even by a mighty hand. So I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst, and after that he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and it shall be when they go, that they shall not go empty-handed. But every woman shall ask of her neighbor, namely of her who dwells near her house, articles of silver, articles of gold, and clothing, and you shall put them on your sons and on your daughters, so you shall plunder the Egyptians. All right. Okay. Now I want to. Okay. Let's just recap for a moment. Okay. So here's Moses. He's tending his father's sheep, father Jethro's sheep, and he sees this sign. That's the miracle, right? He sees this miraculous sign in the bush. Between chapter 3 and chapter 4, there are 1, 2, plus 10 other miracles that take place. All right, 12. Yeah. There are 12, 13 miracles that take place between chapter 3 and chapter 4. All right, and I'll show you where they are. Right. So those are the 14 or 13 miracles that take place. It's the 10 plagues. You remember them? All right, the 10 plagues plus 3 others that take place. And the 3 miracles that precede the 10 are actually a sign, or they give us, or they've got a lot of information about the purpose of miracles. All right. So there's Moses. Maybe let me open let me open with this and say that Jürgen Moltmann has a very interesting statement where he says that miracles are not supernatural. They are the only natural thing in a sin-sickened world. All right. So miracles are not supernatural. They are the only natural thing in a sin-sickened world. All right. The world has been so corrupted by sin that we have come to appreciate even the most basic and natural things as supernatural. That's how corrupted by sin the world has become. That even the other time we went to do a soup kitchen, give homeless people soup. When we got there and I asked the people to come close to the car so that we can give them soup, the people didn't want to come close to the car. They don't want to get the soup. They said, you're police. You have to catch us. I mean, no, we want to give you soup. What do you want? No, we just want to give you soup. That's all. We just want to give you soup. That's it. Nothing more. Nah, nobody does that. Nobody. And of course, we have to literally beg people to accept an act of kindness. Now that was a reflection of how rare kindness has become. That people now use kindness in order to make out a punishment, and people are afraid to accept kindness from other people because there's nothing for mahala. It is the same with miracles. We now begin to celebrate the good that God does when He is simply just restoring things into their natural order. And we think that those are supernatural. When there's nothing supernatural about it, it's just God restoring things and making them work the way they're supposed to. All right. But we're so used to such a corrupt system of existence that when God restores life into its natural form, we assume that God is being powerful. Right. I can hear you not buying it yet. So there's Moses. He sees a burning bush. The Bible says the bush, there's a fire on the bush, and that's not natural, that's supernatural. And here's the purpose of the miracle, is that when Moses sees this, he goes closer to investigate. So the purpose of the miracle was not so that Moses can see how powerful God is. Because Moses doesn't need to know that God is powerful. And once again, I'll show you how God introduces himself to Moses, shows you that Moses does not have a problem with God's ability. And so he doesn't need a big display of God's power in order to be convinced that he should follow God. Right? So when he gets close, the miracle is to draw Moses closer to the presence of God. That's the purpose of the miracle. You can't use your miracle as your spiritual destination. The miracle number one, and I've never seen this. I've never had someone come to my house to ask for food, and when I give them the food, they get out, they leave the house, and they say, man, that man is generous. But over and above that, they also compliment themselves for their ability to make a request. Do you know why he gave me? Why? Because I asked without ceasing. I wrestled with him. How does your begging become a reflection of your spiritual strength? Where does it change? Because for me, when you receive the answer of what you ask from God, that's not a compliment of your ability to request. It is a reflection of God's generosity to respond even to things that Paul says are like babblings of a little child. Right. So the miracle cannot be an end in and of itself. It cannot be the height of your spiritual attainment. I serve a God of miracles. He delivers miracles in my life. And I said yesterday that it's not every miracle that is delivered to people who have strong faith. Sometimes God allows the faithful to go without what they're requesting because their faith is able to sustain them. And I'll tell you a story of two twins when we speak about prayer and hope. Yeah, two twins. Leave me alone. All right. Leave me apart. All right. So we right. So there it is. There's Moses going, and he sees this sight. So now this is a miracle. All right. Fire consumes whatever it comes into contact with, right? So when fire does not consume what it comes, that's a miracle. That's supernatural. That's not supposed to happen, all right? That is a miracle. So I'm not here to tell you that miracles don't exist. Miracles do exist, but what you call miracles are not miracles. All right, so there it is, and he goes close. So the purpose of this miracle is so that Moses can get closer or come closer to God, so that God can talk to him. That is the purpose. If your miracle does not get you to a point where you understand God better, if your miracle does not get you to a point where God can give you a mission, if you possess your miracle and you remain missionless after a miracle, then you're not possessing a miracle, you're possessing a distraction. And I want to show you this. Go to the New Testament. See, every time Christ has healed someone, be it a Jew, be it a Gentile, every time he's healed someone, he will say to them, no, don't go into the city, go and present yourself to the priest. That's a mission. You are given a mission. Sometimes he'll say, go back home and tell them what God has done for you. That's a mission. They receive a miracle, which again, I will tell you that it was not really a miracle, but they receive something amazing from God and they go back home. They are given a mission. Your miracle must be accompanied by a mission. Your mission cannot be to consume the miracle. That can't be your mission in life. What are you doing? Enjoying and basking in the glory. So Moses sees the miracle, he gets close, and he receives the mission. All right, now go and tell my people. Go and tell my people that I've heard their cries, and I have now come to deliver them. Then Moses goes to Egypt, right? Before Moses goes to Egypt, he asks God and he says, man, but what do I do in Egypt? Now before we go to God saying what he will say to his people, let's just listen to what God said. Now Moses says, what will I say to Pharaoh? All right, I can't just walk in there. He's got slaves and everything. He's a powerful man. I can't go just say to him and say, hey, look, we're here, we want these guys that are working for you. We need to let them go. Who wants them? God. Who's he? All right, I don't know who he is. Okay, So what do I say to him? Now God says to Moses, put your hand in your armpit, right? Puts his hand, comes out, it's leprous, right? Okay? That's a miracle. You can't have armpits that has leprosy. Alright, that's a miracle. And then he says, what else do I do? And then he says, okay, put your stick down. Snakes. You might mistake a snake for a stick every now and again, but they don't turn. And they don't turn back again. That's not natural, that's supernatural. Alright, so this is for Pharaoh. Why? So that Pharaoh will know that I am God. The miracle is a means of introduction to Pharaoh. Who is Pharaoh? A pagan king who does not know God. Alright, Pharaoh gets a miracle. Why? So that Pharaoh can know God. Miracles, by the way, are not for those who have faith. Why do you need a miracle when you already have faith? Because you get a miracle in order to build your faith. Let me say this again. Miracles are not for believers. Miracles are for unbelievers. In order for them to believe, again, we go to Christ. Every time you heal someone, I do these things so that you may believe. Look at the biggest miracle Christ has ever performed. John chapter 11, the resurrection of Lazarus. Before he raises Lazarus, he prays to God. This is the biggest miracle of his ministry. All right, I almost said his career. But this is the biggest miracle of his ministry. Before I don't know, are miracles conducted? Are they performed? All right, well now they take on the shape of a performance. But before he conducts this miracle, he prays this prayer and he says, Lord, I am grateful that you allowed this to happen. You have allowed Lazarus to fall asleep so that these may know that you sent me. In other words, the miracle is performed in front of unbelievers so that through the miracle they may believe in his mission. Okay. The biggest miracle that Christ has ever performed gives us an indication of the purpose of miracles. They are for unbelievers, they're not for believers. Hello? Right. So, now, again, we go to Exodus. So, the king was an unbeliever. What does he get? He gets a miracle so that he may believe. But the children of Israel, who are God's children, Moses says, what do I say to them? They don't get a miracle. What do they get? A name. Yes. Somebody didn't get it. Actually, you did not get that. All right. The unbelievers get a miracle. The believers get a name. Who do I say you are? How do I show the children of Israel that I come from you? Tell them, I am has sent me. Why? Because believers need miracles to build up their faith. Unbelievers, need miracles to build up their... You must tell me when I'm contradicting myself, I'll just keep quiet. Unbelievers need miracles to confirm or build up their faith, to build up their faith. They need miracles. Believers are not sustained by God's miracles. They are sustained by God's name. And that is why the psalmist will write. And he'll say, some trust in chariots, some trust in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord. And in the book of Acts, Peter would say, for there is no other name that we have been given in earth or in heaven above except the name of Jesus. Believers are not kept by miracles, they are kept by the name of God. Right. Then you get a miracle happening in your life, and you assume it is because you're a believer. Because your faith is strong. God is looking at you and he's saying, hey man, this one, still need to build them up, give them the miracle. So miracles, that's how miracles work. So Moses, Lord, gets a miracle, but over and above getting the miracle, he also gets a mission. Your mission in life cannot be performing miracles. That can't be your mission. The performance of miracles cannot be your mission. You just can't be living for miracles. There needs to be a mission that is greater than you. A mission that demands you to give yourself up so that others can have a better life than you. Right. Now, let me say this again. Let me say this. I need to make this point. When Moses delivered the children of Israel, and he got them out of Egypt, right, with no war, Moses delivered them and they left Egypt. That was not a miracle. You can't celebrate that as a miracle. Because to say it's a miracle for the children of Israel to be relieved of, what's this? To be released from slavery is a miracle, is to indirectly legitimize slavery. All right. Okay, some of you went around and some of you were just kids then. 1994, right? There we get this freedom. All right. This thing. All right. Then we were managed and our minds were massaged. South Africa, we love you. We were all a lovey-dovey rainbow nation. So we got this freedom, so-called freedom, right? We got this freedom. And we celebrated, right? Yay! We're free! And we got out and went to town and discovered we can't buy half the things sold in town. But we were free. All right. We were free. Okay. There we were. We were free. We were out and we were free. And we celebrated. And I said, that is the problem. That is the problem. When we celebrated our freedom, we legitimized our oppression. Because oppression is unnatural. You can't then celebrate the restoration of the natural as if the supernatural has happened. When we were free, the natural order of things were being restored. We were not being given something supernatural because what was happening was not natural. Yes, sir. Are we together? Right. I'm going to come back to this. Let me go back to this. When you can't see, right, but you've got eyes, that's unnatural. So when Christ opens the eyes of a blind man, that's unnatural. I mean, it's unnatural for a blind man, for someone to be blind, to have eyes but be blind. That's unnatural. You're supposed to have eyes and you see. That's why you have eyes, so that you can see. When Christ opens your eyes and you're able to see, he has not performed a miracle. All he has done is simply restore the natural working order of things. You've got legs, you're lame, you're sitting down, you can't walk, but you've got legs. When you are given the ability to walk, or when your legs are restored and you're able to walk again, that's not a miracle. You have legs, you're supposed to walk. It's unnatural for you to have legs and not be able to walk. Are we together? So you're sitting there, you can't walk. That's not a miracle. So where's the miracle? Where's the real miracle? Maybe let's use my favorite example, John chapter 5. It's the same pattern throughout all these so-called miracles again. Where is the miracle? John chapter 5. Here's the man sitting at the pool of Bethesda. He's been ill for 38 years. But look at this. The Bible says, this guy sat there at the pool hoping that when the waters are shaken, he might somehow, as lame as he is, how's that for hope? How's that for being ambitious? He can't walk, but somehow he's hoping he'll get in the water before everyone. For 38 years. For 38 years. Now we're not talking about 38 months or 38 hours or 38 days. It is years. It's years. And he's not 38 years old. He was sick for 38 years. Right. Then the man, for 38 years though, he never, ever, ever for a single day, ever gives up hope that he'll be able to walk again. So, when Jesus comes this time and talks to him and says, sir, do you want to be made well? After 38 years of disappointment, you might think that this guy has resigned himself to a lifetime of lameness and just sitting there, chilling there, not being able to walk. But when Christ walks into that room, into that pool, and he asks him, do you want to be made well? He says, sir, I've got no one. All I need, listen to this, even then, this guy is saying, my biggest problem is not that. It's not, I don't have a big problem. It's just that I need resources. So he's now even making a business case for his hope. Give me someone, and you will see miracles. Give me someone, and you'll see what I will do. 38 years, this guy has been ill, yet he never loses hope that one day he'll be able to walk. That's the miracle. It's unnatural for someone to face disappointment for so long and yet have the same fervor and same hope he had as he did on the first day he walked into the pool. He was brought into the pool. Are you still with me? Yeah. That is the miracle. The miracle does not happen when he's told to get up and walk. That's the restoration of the natural order of things. You are supposed to walk. What would have been a miracle is for him to be able to walk with no legs. That's a miracle. Are we still together? But when he's given the ability to walk, using his legs, what Christ has done is just to restore the natural order of things. Now, where did the miracle happen? You will say amen when the Bible says Then he got up, picked up his mat, and he walked. That's not the miracle. That's the end of the miracle.
Yes.
The real miracle is the 38 years.
Yeah.
That's where the real miracle happens. Do you think the miracle is when she bends down and touches the hem of his garment? I'm healed. No. That's not the miracle. The real miracle is 12 years of searching for a solution, never giving up. Every day, thinking, how can I improve my situation? Never losing hope. That's the miracle. For 12 years, you live with this condition day in and day out. You live with it, you live through it, you carry it around with you for 12 years, hoping that today might just be my day. And every day that passes, the condition lasts and it continues with you. But you never lose hope. You never lose sight of the fact that tomorrow might just be my day. As you go back to sleep, with the same condition you woke up with, you sleep in the hope that the sun will rise and your hope is resurrected once more. That is the miracle for me. The miracle is not when you are delivered from what you're going through. That is not a miracle. That's just not, you're not supposed to go through what you're going through. You can't celebrate the cessation of what you're going through, because when you celebrate the end of what you're going through, you're legitimizing what you're going through. What you're going through is illegitimate. Don't celebrate its end. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Right. So you can't. That's it. Okay. Miracle. You lose your mother. Okay. You know, I've noticed. I went up cycling today. I went towards Craddock. It was windy. Worst decision of my life. So, climbing up there, I felt like my heart rate was just shooting through the roof. I felt like it was going to come out my ears. And I was in so much pain. Just climbing up there. And then this guy with the tractor comes by. Behind me, come by. And I said, never. I'm not getting defeated by a tractor up again. So I stood up. Now, can you imagine? My heart rate is I'm about to pop. But as soon as I saw that thing, I got up and I pedaled almost my life away. So, and I dropped it. I dropped the tractor and I went up. And I thought, okay, maybe he let me win. So I got up, and when I got to the top, right, I felt dizzy. I almost fell. So I stopped, and I got off my bike. I sat down for a few minutes, and I just thought, what am I doing? You know, that's physical pain, right? I almost passed out because my body was saying, you're about to die. So you're going to just shut down for a few moments just to restore. You know, then physical pain. That's what happens. Sometimes people release, you know, when you're in physical pain, and then you pass out because, you know, like your body's saying, hey, look, let's protect you, your mind. Let's protect your mind more, especially your brain, your brain. So let's shut everything down so that you don't kill your brain, you kill yourself. Everything else like that. You shut down because so what happens is when you're in physical pain, there's an end to it. There's an end. Right? There's a point where your body protects you from it, all right? And then if you've got a headache, you get tablets and whatever. But emotional pain is like a hole that has a hole. And once you think you've reached the floor, like you realize that the floor wasn't actually a floor. It was actually a reflection of the ceiling. Emotional pain just never ends. It has no end. Have you ever been in so much emotional pain that you start shaking when you're sleeping? Like it manifests physically. You can't sleep. You've got adrenaline pumping through your heart, through your body. But you can't sleep. And you're not dying. You're not passing out. You're just in pain. You think about them. You think them smiling. How can they hurt me like this? And you want to cry. And there's just no end to emotional pain. And for me, the biggest miracle is how we survive emotional pain. Sure. Now, this is just a boyfriend or a girlfriend that has cheated on you, you found them in bed with someone else, and that's young pain. Try losing a parent. Right? Try losing a parent. Okay, you walk in and you get told, hey, look, we need to talk. And you can suspect what you're going to be told. Hey, look, we need to chat. And you know how we do it as black people. Your mom has left us. Where's she gone to? Why didn't she report that she was leaving? No, And they say, shame. So then they tell you, no, she's dead. She's dead. They tell you, she's passed away. She's gone. She's gone. Mommy, that pain, it strikes you. It's deep, right? You react in a way that you never thought you were capable of, all right? And like I remember when I was told that my mom had passed away, they say I howled, but I don't remember. Right? I howled and I cried. I don't remember that. The miracle for me would not have been my mom surviving her illness. That would not be a miracle. That would have been God restoring the natural order of things. She's not supposed to be sick. Right? So you can't say when she's healed from sickness, it's a miracle. That wouldn't have been a miracle. The miracle is that my brother and I were able to go through that, and here we are today. 11 years later, I can still remember, actually, it's way more than 11 years, 2001. So 16 years later, I can still remember the day that she passed away. I remember the pain, but here I am. I don't know how I survived that emotional pain. It was the most painful thing I've ever gone through. Girlfriends have dumped me before, and okay, I don't get dumped because I'm not a used product. But girlfriends have chosen others. They've chosen others. That's a fact. That's a fact of life. You see, someone, who can't choose another person? It's my wife. She can't choose another person. We're married. Alright? Legal. Blessed. She can't choose another. But a boyfriend and a girlfriend, there's absolutely, I've got no monopoly over them. No right over them. They can leave whenever they want. And the fact that I have given them my heart was my choice. It should never be their burden. So when they go, they must go and find someone else that they think they have better prospects of life with. You're not the prospect, and if you really love them, you will accept that they believe they will be happier with someone else. After all, why do you want them to remain with you? It's because you believe you can make them happy. They don't think you can make them happy. They believe they'll find happiness with someone else. So if their happiness is your priority, then let them go to someone else.
Amen.
Amen. All right. So I just had to put that footnote down. I just had to insert that footnote. So the real miracle is not it's just in you surviving what you're going through. That for me is the miracle. It's not the end. The miracle, and I always say this, I'm always amazed. I'll be standing in a hall packed full of people, preaching to them, and most of them have come, and you say to them, what do you want us to pray for? Someone will raise their hands. I want to pray. I want you to pray for me to find a job. What do you want us to pray for? I want you to pray that I'm sick. I want to be made well. What do you want us to pray for? People want us to pray for things that they're already surviving. And when they end, they want to celebrate that as miracles. It doesn't become a miracle when you are able to survive without it. There's nothing supernatural about it. It's just normal. Yeah. Anyway, so when you get out of here and you stop working, and remember, that's the end of the miracle. The real miracle is you being here without working. Actually, and I said this yesterday, it's you being here without parents. That's the miracle for me. Miracle, and I said yesterday, the beauty of what God does is that He not only keeps us intact in what we're going through, but He also keeps us from looking like what we're going through. So not only are you surviving what you're going through, but we also can't tell what you're going through. And that's the miracle. And you're busy praying for the miracle to end by asking for a miracle. Am I making sense? Yeah. You're praying for the real miracle is what's happening right now. And you're busy praying for this miracle to end by praying for a so-called miracle, when what you're really praying for is the restoration of the natural order of things. So when the man is told to get up and walk, that's not the miracle. The real miracle was in him for 38 years, never, ever losing his humanity, holding on to his humanity. You know what the real miracle is? Was it that we were allowed to vote after 1994, and then we were allowed to to walk into town. That's not the miracle. The real miracle is that for years, hundreds of years of oppression, we never lost our song. We never lost our humanity. Of course, some might argue that we were dehumanized, but somehow, under those dehumanizing conditions, we found a way to cling onto our humanity. That was the miracle. 1994 was not the miracle, it was the end of the miracle. And so here you are, hoping that God will somehow deliver you from what you're going through. You pray for this so-called miracle. And what you're really praying for is for God to put a full stop to the real miracle that is happening. So while you're praying for your breakthrough, don't lose sight of the miracle that you're going through. The miracle that you are. It's not going to come with yeah, it's not going to change anything if you can't find the ability to be yourself, if you can't find yourself under these difficult and hard circumstances. Comfort is not going to make you a better person. Ease. Was it Denzel Washington who said that? Ease is the greatest enemy of progress. Ease is not going to make a great person out of you. It's your becoming is in the hardships that you're going through. That's who you are. That's who you're becoming. That's what shapes you in what you're going through. So I finished cycling and I tell my friends, they say, how was the ride? I say to them, it was nothing but hills and wind. Nothing but hills and wind. And they laugh at me because I told them I'm going to Grahamstown, I'm going to be cycling for 2 weeks, you know. There's nothing else to do. I'm just going to be cycling and preaching in the evening. And they laugh at me. And then one of them, and I said, I'm just so sad that all I came here for were hills and wind. And then he said to me, good, you're now riding out of your comfort zone. It means you're going to come back stronger because you're out of your comfort zone. And that for me is the biggest miracle, that God trusts us with hard situations. Knowing somehow God knows and understands that what we are going through, we will be able to go through. And that for me is the miracle, in that God trusts me enough to go through what I'm going through. And so the devil goes up, the sons of God are meeting, and he goes up there, and God says to him, where have you been? I've been roaming to and fro the earth. And God brings up his favorite subject and says, have you considered my servant Job? Have you seen him? Because you know what the devil's saying, I've been going to and fro. He says, if you look at the earth, it is littered with evidence of my whereabouts. Everything that I've come into contact with reflects that I've been there. There's no sign of your presence on earth. When you look down on earth, you can see that I rule on earth. And that is why God says, if you consider the territory that you have not annexed, my servant Job. And then the devil turns around and says, so you can't tell me about Job. This one you are keeping and sustaining with miracles. Can't tell me about him. He's got no faith that you are sustaining by miracles. You're giving him blessings. And that's why he'll never let you go, because you are his ATM. And God says, okay, fine, I'll switch off the ATM. Do whatever you want, but don't touch him. He says, good. He goes and touches the blessings. And the devil realizes that the blessings that surrounded Job had actually connected Job to God. Because the miracles that were happening in his life were not the end in and of themselves. Job had a mission in his life. And when the things were taken away, they were just a sign of God's presence. When they disappeared, they did not disappear with his faith in God. Because his faith was not planted or rooted in God's blessings or God's miracles. One day I just want to have a conversation with God and just say to him, the man was living quietly and peacefully. Why did you bring him to the attention of the devil? Like, how mean can you get? Why did you bring him to that? I have a sneaky suspicion that his answer might go something like, you're the one who has a problem with what I did to Job. Job doesn't have a problem with that. And that is exactly why I allowed it to happen in his life. Sometimes we think that we're going to ask God, why does God allow so many people to go through so many hardships in our lives? I have a sneaky suspicion that we're going to be told where to get off. We have a problem with what they're going through, but somehow their faith is enough to take them through what they're going through. And that's the miracle. That's the beauty. That is unnatural. It's unnatural for you to go through what you're going through. it's also unnatural for you to look natural while going through something unnatural. And that's the miracle. That's what's happening. So, when you come to me and ask me for holy water because you want miracles in your life, the miracle is already happening. When they give you holy water and what's this thing, baptized oil and whatever they give you, these things and they, and then, that's not the miracle. They're just simply, they're simply acting out on top of what is already happening. You're already making it. You're already doing it. And you don't need more than what you're going through. And so every time I pray, whenever I pray, I always say to God, I always say to him, and I don't try not to be prescriptive when I pray to God. I always say to him, please Lord, don't put out the fires, but just make sure that I don't get consumed by the fire. Yeah. I don't want the fires to disappear. Let them stay there, but I don't want to be consumed by the fires. I don't want to be, but also, you know, if you've given me a cross to carry, don't lessen it, don't make it smaller. Just broaden my shoulders so that I can carry it. I don't want the transformation to happen in my problems. I want the transformation to happen in me. I can't suffer. I can't suffer double. I can't suffer going through the problem and then suffer not growing from the problem. Let me just conclude with this. Hey, don't look at the time. But let me just conclude with this. Lastly, just to convince you that the miracle is happening right now. So Jesus gets into a boat with his disciples, right? Luke chapter 8. They get into a boat and they cross over to the other side. And the Bible says Jesus is sleeping in the boat. And then the disciples look for Jesus in the boat and then they find him because they're afraid of the storm, right? Now listen to this. When the storm erupts, the Bible says they're afraid. Then they look for him. They find him sleeping in the storm. They wake him up. He gets up in the storm. He calms the storm. After the storm is calm, the Bible says they are afraid. Then it leads me to believe it was not the storm that made them afraid. They were full of fear, even without the storm. Because even when the storm had disappeared, they still found reason to be fearful. The calming of the storm, which is supposedly a miracle, was supposed to make them calm and was supposed to deal with their internal problems. But the external, dealing with the external, never deals with the internal problems that you're carrying with you. When God reconfigures the problems in your life that you're going through, it will change what you're going through, but it will leave you unchanged. And that's a problem. You can't live a life that is continuously changing while remaining unchanged. And you know what's so sad about that story? Do you know what's so sad about it? It is that the storms are calm, but they are not calm. The storm has been changed, but they have not been changed. And you will consider how many times have you prayed for God to change your life, and how many times has your life changed? But the same problems arrive in your life. You still face them with the same fear you did the first time they arrived. You've gone through the same problem for years. You know every year you're going to run out of money to register. But every year, the same panic you had in your first year still attends you in your 7th year. So no matter how many times God delivers the registration fee to you, it never changes your panic attacks. It never improves. It never improves you. So you know He's going to deliver the money. You know He's going to deliver. Why are you still panicking? So no matter how many times you go through the same, you know what the problem is? The storms are calm, but you are left uncalm. And then Jesus gets up and He says, "Where is your faith?" Now here's what I thought. I thought faith is when I'm going through a problem, I take my problem to Jesus. That is faith. But Jesus has a problem with that kind of faith. When He gets up and He calms the storm, then He deals with the problem, your lack of faith. Yes. What do you mean? I don't have faith. I just brought the problem to you. Does that not show that I've got faith? I trust you. And He says, no, that is not faith. And I somehow believe that what would have reflected faith for Christ is not in Him, is not in the disciples bringing the problem in panic. What would have reflected faith is when the disciples find Jesus sleeping. They don't wake Him up to attend to the storm. When they find Him sleeping, they ask Him to scoot over and they lie next to Him. That's faith. Faith is not waking God up to calm the storms in your life. Faith is finding sleep in the storm. And that's the miracle. That would have been the real miracle. Not when Christ gets up and calms the storm. The real miracle would have been when the disciples, with all reason to fear, they find a reason to rest. Because their God is resting. And they rest right next to Him. And that's the miracle. So stop panicking. Why are you panicking when your God is not panicking? Have you ever thought about it though? Have you ever thought about it? You've got a problem. Can you imagine you've got a problem, you run to God and say, hey God, I've got a problem. He says, wait, what are you going to do? You. Wait, I'm thinking, stop praying. You. Jesus! Someone! Hey! You know, and I mean, would not be able to trust a God like that, you know. But somehow, a God who, when you're panicking, just keeps quiet and He smiles assuredly. Lord, I'm dying! He smiles at you. And somehow we misinterpret the smile as indifference, when really it is control. God is not just in control of your life, He's also in control of Himself. He can manage to control Himself when things are going out of control in your life. He's got so much control, He controls Himself to not panic at the same level that you are panicking in. And then when you are done panicking, then He shows you that you had no reason to panic because you survived what made you panic. You're going through the miracle. Stop praying for it to end. It's good enough. What's happening is good enough. So tomorrow we'll talk again about faith. May God bless you. Just pray with someone. Today, I know sometimes as preachers we tend to say these things easily and, you know, blasé, and we just assume that it's easy for you to go through what you're going through. And people assume that we think it's easy. Because normally people assume that as a preacher or as a pastor, you never go through what they're going through. But let's pray together again this evening, just for God to keep us intact in what we're going through. I know some of you are going through deep emotional problems, serious emotional problems. I just discovered, don't worry, I spoke to her, I just discovered that a relative of mine went through something traumatic when she was a kid. She was raped repeatedly when she was a child, and then it happened to her when she was an adult, all right? But I didn't know about the incident that happened when she was a child. And she's been living with this thing for all these years. And I only found out about it on Sunday. Was it yesterday? Sunday was yesterday, right? When I came here, and I only found out about it yesterday. But when you look at her, you can't tell that she's going through so much trauma in her life. She's the bubbliest, and she's the life of the party. It might be a coping mechanism. She's the life of the party. I didn't know that she was going through that her whole life. I think now it's catching up to her, and it's really eating her up. And so I know that some of you are going through some serious problems nobody knows about. You can't even tell anyone about it. But I'm not going to pray for God to bring an end to them or for God to somehow erase what you went through. That can't happen. But I think something good can come out of it. And I'm hoping that your survival of it will make you a better person. So that's what I want to pray about. That's what I want to pray for. I want to pray about that. I'm not the kind of preacher who's going to wrestle with God the whole night. And then He changes His mind about what He allowed to happen in your life. So I just want to pray that God helps us to understand His mind. Maybe not for us to change His mind, but for us to understand His mind about our lives. And that's what I want to pray for tonight. I want to invite you as we pray together. If you've got something that you're going through that you'd like God to help you go through, not around and not over. He's not a God of overs and unders. He's a God of throughs. And you want Him to help you through it. You don't want Him to put out the fire. You want Him to change you, that you're not consumed by the fire. You don't want Him to lessen your cross, but you want Him to broaden your shoulders. And if that's your prayer, I ask you to stand as we pray together. Once again, dear Father, we thank You for allowing us to read your word and to talk about you. We know that you could have done this, but you've chosen one of us to do it. And the times of your Father, our own inadequacies come through in our own sermons, in our representation of you, dear Lord. And at times we say more than we should about you. At times we say things that you wouldn't have us say about you, that you wouldn't even say about yourself. And so I pray, dear Lord, that if we have said anything, dear Lord, that is inaccurate or that is untrue about you, help us to forget it, and help us, dear Father, to discard it. Give us the wisdom to forget about it and to see its wrongness. And forgive us, dear Father, for having uttered it. In the same vein, dear Father, the same fervor, we are asking, dear Lord, that if we have said anything that might change our lives, may you make it impossible for us to forget it. If your word tonight, dear Father, has found a place in our hearts, may nothing take it out, dear Father. Help us, dear Lord, to keep it there, dear Father. Let it reign continuously in our lives. And help us, dear Father, to do your will and to do your bidding, dear Father. Make it difficult for us to hear you speak to us and then continue with our lives, dear Father, as if we've never heard you. In a special way, dear Lord, we're standing here. We know that we're not presenting anything new to you, but what we're presenting to you, dear Father, is something that you perhaps even knew about long before we went through. And so I know somewhere in what we're going through, dear Lord, is the solution to what we're going through. And I ask, dear Father, in a special way that you may open our eyes to see the way out that you have created for us, dear Lord, in what we're going through. In a special way, dear Lord, we also ask that while we're going through it, dear Father, may you keep us intact. Problems, crises, situations, dear Lord, have a tendency of altering us, dear Father, and altering our personalities and making monsters and animals out of us. I pray, dear Lord, that we do not lose our humanity because of the inhumane conditions we are currently living under. And I pray, dear Father, that you help us, dear Lord, to become better people as a result of what we're going through. We're not praying to justify what is happening in our lives, dear Father. We're not saying that it is okay for us to go through what we're going through, but since you have allowed it in your own infinite wisdom, dear Lord, help us to trust you to bring us out of it. And we pray, dear Lord, that you will change us and transform us in it, dear Lord. I pray again, dear Father, not because I think you have not heard us, but just I'm hoping, dear Father, you will read in this repetition, dear Lord, a desire to see this happening in our lives. Please keep us intact. Keep us from falling apart, and help us not to lose our humanity because of what we are going through. I pray, dear Lord, that when after all has been said and done, may we learn to celebrate the miracles that our lives are, in spite of the difficulties we are going through. We pray all these things not because we are worthy, but we pray in the mighty and wonderful name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.